Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Sports. Some news out of the Springbok camp, and Salmaan Moerat has officially departed the camp with another injury and will not take part in either the Springboks versus Barbarians nor the SAA versus Zimbabwe clash next week. And it's becoming a bit of a theme with Salmaan Moerat. Manages to get a string of games together, gets his call up into the box squad, and injury sets in. And unfortunately, unless he really starts to put together a pretty injury-free period, I just don't really see him getting as many caps as I think he would like to think he was going to get if he can stay fit. But one man's loss is another man's opportunity, and a very deserved call-up for Ruben van Heerden, who will join the squad for the first time officially in a Springbok squad. He has been part of alignment camps. He has been on the radar. He's been one of those players that everybody kind of sort of always been quite confused at his lack of participation, and actually played against the Springboks last year for the Barbarians. Well, this time he'll have the opportunity potentially to have it vice versa, where he potentially might turn out for the Springboks against the men in the white and black next weekend. Before we get into it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. So things are starting to wrap up in Johannesburg, and we expected to sort of see what if we had been there. Carly Sardi was linking up with the squad today. Pepsi Buthelezi joining the squad, as well as the Stormers players joining the squad earlier this week. And another addition to the squad is Ruben van Heerden, who's had another strong season for the Stormers. And yeah, I think he's one of those players. He's been quite consistent, but maybe just always kind of misses out in the Springboks. And I think maybe him moving between a 4 and a number 5 lock and kind of not always knowing exactly where he is probably hasn't really helped his cause. But he's always been a talented player, and he's always been a hard worker. And I always thought in that regard he kind of made sense for it to be kind of a bit of a Rusty Erasmus player. But for whatever reason, it hasn't quite happened for him yet. But now he has the opportunity to try and stake a claim in a position where I do believe we need to start building depth. I do think that lock is a worry. It is a position that we've got plenty of talent, but also lots of injuries in recent years, and we've had to be quite adaptable. We've even seen sort of PSDF the toy step back into that number 5 jersey and the likes of that. So Ruben van Heerden is going to get that call up, and also got confirmation, by the way, that Zonita Stick will be the SAA coach again, as he was a couple of years ago when we had that tour overseas. That was actually Sashafami Gomazulu's first taste of sort of Springbok or South African structures when he kind of played in that tour. And Zulistic once again will take charge of that side, which makes sense. I think it was always going to be him. When he gone all the days kind of where the SAA side kind of trains a different squad with a different coach. We used to see those games against like the French Barbarians. I think it was Jan Ackerman who had the reins at the time, and they kind of played in different days, different venues, kind of different feature matches. Now this SAA game very much just a curtain raise, an opportunity for basically the players that aren't going to be selected for the Barbarians game to get a bit of a hit out. So Zonita will take charge of that side, and it'll all come from the same pool of players. There's no Springbok squad and SAA squad like we have kind of had previously, where you name 2 different squads. It's all one big squad, and they'll basically just pick between the sort of the 52 odd players, 53 odd players that are within there. So you can see over there, as mentioned, Pepsi Buthelezi and Carlos Sardi will call out the squad on Monday, and they have report to duty. We're going to get our first taste of Springbok training tomorrow with our first sort of media opportunity. So make sure you keep an eye out on the channel. Make sure you consider joining the members club and getting a whole bunch of different perks, including first look at some of the training that the Springboks are going to do. We're going to have a man on the ground tomorrow, and also expecting to have our first Springbok press conference tomorrow afternoon with Rusty Erasmus set to address the media and hopefully give us a bit of an update as to what we can expect with selection in the next 4 games, I think, are the big ones. When you think of Barbarians, which should obviously be a very experimental side, England, which is going to be one of our tougher tests this year, then Scotland and Wales as well. Scotland could be a very tough test depending on the sort of squad they bring out. Wales very much in a rebuilding phase, so an opportunity for us to be able to rotate. And after that, the next time the Boks will get together will be one of 4 tests in the Greatest Rivalry Series. So it's going to be a really, really blockbuster calendar year for the Boks, and in that sense, it'll be interesting to see what Rusty has to say with regards to how he's planning on rotating a squad, what it means if the players do get opportunities, kind of what the roadmap is to the World Cup. Because there's a lot of players who I think obviously kind of already booked their ticket, but there's definitely at least sort of, 4, 5 spaces, maybe even more, where I think we're sitting there going, ooh, are they going to make it? Kavili LaRue, for example, we're kind of expecting not really to potentially make it, but maybe. You've got to look at injuries, and you've got to think about your props, for example, with no Francois Herbert once again at the moment. Asnatin Tlavekanye with his ban. Vincent Cox back in the mix, or are we going to look at one of the younger players? You've got Wilco Low, Thomas du Toit suddenly come through. So there's definitely certain positions which are up for grabs. I think that the third scrum off position is very much up for grabs. I think Maury van den Berg was kind of in that spot. Now he's injured now, and Bosa Pierre going to get the run. So it's going to be an interesting year to really sort of see how players are going to go all out to get their opportunity to book a spot on the plane for the World Cup next year. So it's going to be a fun one. And it all starts next weekend. So this is an opportunity for Ruben van Heerden to show what he's worth and to kind of prove the Bok management wrong in terms of that he should have been involved sooner, which I believe he should have. I think he's been in really good form for the Storm, has always been reliable. And just obviously, whatever reason, hasn't got that recognition. So what are your thoughts on the call-up? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.